All right, everyone. Michelle Obama was doing her normal talky thing. She likes to come out for the cameras. She enjoys talking about social issues, not so much like the strictly political side, more the social side, which is kind of the counter to Barack's stuff, where he's more dry and academic and tries to almost avoid the social stuff and have other people like Biden or his wife actually handle them. And Obama came out, and she is a sexist. There's no such thing, by the way, as reverse sexism. You either have weird hang-ups about people's gender or you don't. Michelle Obama is a sexist. She came out and said, "Oh, we raise men to be entitled. We need to change this, and men are often entitled." Bullshit. That's absolutely wrong. No, men are not raised to be entitled. No, what we teach men when we're raising them as boys is buck up, be courageous, and just do what you need to do, and shut the fuck up if something is going wrong and work harder. That's typically what we teach males. That's not entitlement. It's the exact opposite of entitlement. She's talking about is, men feel entitled to be in charge. Men feel entitled to say what they want to say. Well, yeah, we are. So are females. It's not, again, that's not entitlement. That's called, hey, there are civil liberties within this country. I know it's something that you and other Western European lovers don't like about the United States. You would prefer that it all be heavily, heavily intervened in to the point where there's no such thing as liberty. It's a privilege. You pay a license. You use it within certain boundaries set arbitrarily by a government, and then you're fine. You have free speech as long as you say the right things, essentially. You have the right to keep and bear arms, but only the weapons we want you to have, and then only a certain amount, and you get to register it, background check every year or something, and then it's fine. You have the right to express yourself in certain ways. You have the states have rights too, but only what the federal government deems necessary for their continued existence, as part of a pre-federal system, essentially. That's what people like Michelle Obama want. I happen to disagree and think we need to go strictly in the other direction and get rid of all of this federalistic bullshit permanently. I think we should expand the Constitution to permanently block many of the stupid things they're trying to do. By the way, this would block the uprising of any fascist movements, so the people on the left really should support that. But right now they're being told that, like, pro-liberty advocates, that we're fascist too, which is a bunch of bullshit, but they actually believe it. Because they listened to Linda Sarsour say so. They listened to Al Sharpton say so. Hillary Clinton told them it was true, so in their minds it's inarguable. It's crazy. But Michelle Obama, apparently, she is stereotyping men. She's lumping them all together and saying, as a general rule, men are X, Y, and Z. Well, you wouldn't like that if somebody came up and said that about females. By the way, I stand against it when people do that about females too. People, they're generally on the right. And MGTOW people are a lot like this, MRAs. Some of the MRAs. Some of them are more, well, we need to reform the judicial system. Okay, I can comprehend that. By the way, I have no problem with MRAs that believe that. When they go further into MGTOW land, it's like, it's fucking bullshit. They're like, oh, women generally will divorce you and take the kids, and then they want alimony, and then they want child support. They will destroy your life. By the way, they will cheat on you. Okay, well, that's stereotypical nonsense. That doesn't speak for any individual. Statistics can lie all the time when you try to apply them to any individual component of that statistic. It's just like, well, males commit more murders than females do. Yeah, that doesn't mean that the man you're talking to happens to be murdered. That doesn't make me more likely to murder people. It's just talking about men as a total. Okay, well then, applying that to any single man, so men are more violent, that's where you run into la-la land, liberal la-la land. You can do the same thing from the right and say, this group commits more crimes than this other group. Well, yeah, that doesn't mean any specific individual who's part of that group is a criminal. Therein lies your problem. It's very difficult for people to differentiate between the two. As long as you do, by the way, I don't consider it bigoted to make such statements. No, saying like, males commit, 85, 90% of the murders. That's true. That's a true statistic. It's not bigoted against men to say so. But when you say, oh, therefore, men are violent, men have toxic masculinity, that's a problem. It's a problem because it's not true. You're extrapolating based on a statistic to individuals or smaller groups within that statistical total. You're trying to reverse engineer the actual numbers you're working with, and you do so unsuccessfully. When Michelle Obama says men are entitled, We raise men to feel entitled to take command and tell women what to do. Well, okay, was Barack raised that way? Maybe he was. Other males weren't. Some men were told, hey, you know, respect other people. It doesn't really matter if they're male or female. Biological or statistical differences aside, you treat other people with respect. Also, you can be another group. Would be you simply look at them as your fellow Americans. You don't really fucking care what they have between their legs. It's like on the transgendered issue. I have my own feelings on the biological reality of gender. That doesn't mean that I give a damn what people choose to do with their bodies and how they dress, how they act, what sexual roles they play. Go ahead and knock yourself out. Have fun. It's not going to offend or bother me. It's certainly not going to shock me, dude. I was watching, like, you know, Meat Spin 10 years ago, so it's not exactly going to be a problem. But at the same time, people like Michelle Obama, you got to understand, this is a person, the wife of a lawmaker, the wife of a former high-level political official, happened to be the president of the United States. For somebody like that to express such views is a little bit different from a private citizen. If the average person is bigoted, it doesn't really affect much. It might affect a few people who are personally associated with them, or like associated with them in business. Like, you know, you'd have some dude, he's a womanizer. Okay, that doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect a woman in Taiwan. It might affect his female coworkers. It might affect their spouses or significant others if he's, you know, charming and seducing people. It's like a pickup artist or something. But it affects the people in proximity, generally speaking, to them. There are certain exceptions. You know, some pervert that takes to the online world and they're just like, oh, I have a different woman in my bed every night. Sometimes it's a dude. Sometimes it's someone with a dog. You know, who knows? Okay, well, that might affect a wider net of people. Generally speaking, though, if a person's just kind of bigoted on their own, they have bigoted opinions, not affecting much. When somebody with political power is like that, that's a little bit different. It's like I said years ago. If somebody expresses like racist or sexist views or something, should they be fired from their job? I would say unless it's interfering directly with their capacities, like they're a public spokesperson or something. If they're just working in the back of your shop stacking cans and they're a bigot, it doesn't really matter. Now, they probably shouldn't be fired. It's not affecting anything. It's certainly not affecting your business efficiency. And anyone calling online for them to lose their job, it's just craptivism. Look, they have to have some sort of job, whether they have weird beliefs or not. But if that person is capable of making policy decisions or extracting or enacting public power, like they're a police officer, a judge, a politician or something who's actually in office. Not a former politician, someone in office. A little bit different. To know that the wife of the president is not a public official doesn't necessarily mean that that person doesn't have some degree of political power. Of course, if you're the spouse of someone who's basically running the entire executive branch of the country, and you have their ear constantly and you get to talk to them privately about even totally top secret shit, I would think that could be a problem. And she is a bigot. Yeah, she obviously thinks that men are beneath her. If a man were to speak in that way, oh, women are raised to be entitled, think that they're entitled for the man to pick up the check, and entitled to stay home and raise the kids and not have to work, entitled for differentials within the judicial treatment of alimony and child support payments, don't you think that a lot of people would be real pissed off? But instead, it's just like, you know, the second tier legacy media has a couple articles and a few people make YouTube videos, and that's all that happens. So Michelle Obama can be bigoted. And because she's being bigoted against evil males who run the world into the ground, and they're the ones with the power, they have privilege because, you know, they have penises, nobody apparently gives a damn. I see that as a problem too. That's about all. Peace out.